Women against war and mobilization. In Russia, wives, mothers, daughters demand to return those mobilized home.
It's time to act, not to think and wait for everyone to be cut down in this meat grinder.
After all, the Kremlin considers the mobilized men only as cannon fodder, with which it continues to plug holes in a leaky defense. Not surprisingly, the soldiers are no longer enough. The Putin regime sends conscripts to the war in Ukraine.
It's a trick on our children, 18 to 20-year-old boys, isn't it? Yes. It turns out that we are told on TV that the commander-in-chief told us that there will be no conscripts in the special military operation zone. But for some reason it happens in reality.
Women regularly apply to the military prosecutors' offices of different regions. Military units write letters to the Kremlin, but there is no result. Husbands and sons are dying in the war unleashed by Putin against Ukraine. The Kremlin also has big problems with mercenaries, bullying, beatings, electric shocks. This is how Wagner private military company, which owns the Russian oligarch Prigozhin, recruits prisoners for the war. Relatives of convicts from correctional colony number 37 in the Perm territory tell about such methods of recruitment. The women's anti-war movement proves that Putin's regime can be resisted. Difficult, long, but possible. Women from the Kursk region made sure that their mobilized husbands were returned from the front to the military unit. The protests of mothers and wives will grow, human rights activists say. The women unite and try to resist the pressure.
I get a lot of calls that now the command is acting on these mothers psychologically through sons. They put pressure on sons, intimidate them. They say that if your mother does not calm down, then tell her we will take your phone away from you. We will punish you like that and know that you will suffer because of your mother.
The Putin regime fears the women's anti-war movement for good reason. In the history of Russia, there are examples when women united changed the course of events.
Mothers of soldiers, wives, rudely speaking, mothers of empty pots, if you can put it that way, by they once played. Such a story played out in 1918, when the February Revolution began with just such a performance, and we saw in Dagestan when mass protests ended in refusal from mobilization. They were built precisely for the same people, precisely for such women. They are very angry and ready to protest on specific issues.
Experts believe that the women's anti-war movement can be the first step towards the formation of a civil society in authoritarian Russia that can effectively resist the dictatorship. Reported by Roman Smoler, Ksenia Barvinenko, UATV News.